Imagine as a kid watching videos of your dad receive a brutal foul that results in an injury he was never able to fully recover from and having to hang up his boots early. That had to hurt young Erling badly. Haaland had to grow up harbouring his father's dreams as well as his. Watching that event definitely made him want to grow up a beast, so no player could ever do to him what they did to his dad. And we can all agree Erling grew up a pure beast and destroying defenders has become his hobby. In this video, we will go through how this young phoenix rose through the ashes to become one of the finest strikers of this generation at such a young age. This is the story of Erling Haaland's ballad. The local kid called Little Erling spent his days kicking the ball around the dirty pitches located in Borussia. His dad, Alf Inge, saw the potential that was in him from the very onset of his life. Previously, he was a Premier League player as well. "Be persistent and determined," his dad quoted. "You can make it one day if you truly love it and want it." He did just that. With Erling taking that quote to heart, he spent his training day and night to create rhyme and rhythm. At age 16, his performances with Borussia FK's youth team became such a hit. Opposing coaches and parents shook their head in awe at Erling's strength, speed and clinical finishing. He was on his way to reach the very top by climbing the ladder. Speaking of which, Erling's exploits for Borussia FK soon caught the eye of scouts at Norway's top-flight club, Molde. At Molde, Erling stepped up his training, pushing his body to the limit. His coaches were impressed by his ruthless commitment and saw shades of a young Zlatan Ibrahimovic in his mentality. Within a year, Erling broke into the senior squad, scoring goals for fun in the Norwegian Eliteserien. Statesmen have affectionately christened him the Borussia Bullet because of his remarkable speed. 14 goals in just 39 league games was remarkable for an 18-year-old. But Erling knew Norway was too small of a pond for his big ambitions. By 2019, tales of Erling's goal-scoring exploits had spread across Europe. Several big clubs sent scouts to watch him, but it was Austrian champions RB Salzburg who won the race for his signature. Their high-pressing, attacking style of play suited Erling perfectly. He was off on his next adventure. The Austrian Bundesliga provided the platform for Erling to properly announce himself. Playing alongside another potential superstar, Dominik Szoboszlai, he took his goal tally to astonishing new heights. Erling's speed was tailor-made for Salzburg's rapid transitions from defence to attack. He terrified Austrian Bundesliga defences with his ability to rampage past defenders or bully them with sheer physicality. But Erling's breakout moment came on his Champions League debut versus Genk. He came off the bench to score a hat-trick in just 45 minutes. It was a sign of things to come. Erling's Champions League heroics put him firmly in the shop window. Europe's biggest clubs like Manchester United, Juventus and Real Madrid came calling, eager to sign the rising superstar. But in the end, it was Borussia Dortmund who won the race for his signature in December 2019. BVB beat out the competition by guaranteeing Erling a clear path to first-team football. The Norwegian prodigy scored a 23-minute hat-trick on his debut against Augsburg. Talk about instant impact, eh? Playing alongside Jadon Sancho and Giovanni Reina, Erling formed BVB's Brat Pack, a group of talented teens that terrorized Bundesliga defenses. Defenders across Germany shuddered in fear at the sight of Erling's 6'4" frame barreling towards goal. With his signature celebration, the yoga meditation pose, Erling announced himself as Dortmund's new cult hero. But Erling set his sights higher than Bundesliga success. He wanted to conquer Europe by taking the Champions League by storm. And conquer he did. In his debut Champions League campaign, Erling shattered goal-scoring records, even outshining the GOATs Messi and Ronaldo. His combination of sheer power, lethal finishing and positional intelligence dumbfounded the best defenders on the continent. No matter how they tried to stop him, Erling just kept banging in goals from all angles. By the end of 2020, Erling had emerged as the deadliest striker the Champions League had ever seen at his age. He achieved this historic feat on his debut in the competition, a truly mind-bending achievement. As Erling's reputation grew, so did his goal tally. In the 2020-21 season, he became the fastest player to reach 20 career Champions League goals, achieving the feat in just 14 games. In the Bundesliga, Erling's scoring reached even more ridiculous levels. He smashed 41 goals in the same season, a German record, while still a teenager. Individually, the records tumbled as Erling cemented himself as one of the most precocious talents the game had ever seen. His goals per game ratio became the stuff of legend. But remarkably, Erling remained humble in the face of all this success. He kept his head down and continued working maniacally to improve his game. His frightening self-belief only grew stronger. It was not long before Erling became the great hope for his national team, Norway. With their new Viking warrior up front, Norway dreamed of returning to the glory days of the 90s. Erling instantly became Norway's offensive linchpin and chief goal threat. He led the line with passion and resilience, shouldering the weight of a nation's expectations. Though Norway narrowly missed out on qualifying for Euro 2020, Erling delivered a coming-of-age performance against Serbia in the playoffs. He announced himself on the international stage. On the domestic front, this was it. The holy grail as far as Haaland Sr. was concerned. Erling is still young and has a lot of years left to wreck every goal-scoring record. But for Erling Haaland, the footballing story had come full circle. Haaland was the perfect striker for City to replace one of their greats. For Erling Haaland, it was a perfect opportunity to hurt Manchester United on the field. He knew Erling's potential to take the Premier League by storm as well, and in doing that, he could stop the arch-rivals of Manchester City as well as his dad's personally from winning anything domestically. Manchester City had won the Premier League in the summer of 2022, and they were looking to replace the legendary Kun Aguero with someone as talented as the Argentine. Haaland fit the bill perfectly, and with playing alongside the master creator Kevin De Bruyne, everyone knew Haaland could become unstoppable. Boy, was it an understatement. If people thought the Austrian and German Bundesliga were a farmers' league and Haaland was just another potentially decent striker playing in poor leagues, then boy, were they in for a surprise. A Viking superstar was here to take over the world. Haaland's arrival at Manchester City sent shockwaves through the footballing world. The Premier League champions had signed their long-term heir to Sergio Aguero's throne. The citizens broke their transfer record to bring in the Norwegian superstar. Manager Pep Guardiola knew that Haaland could be the final piece in City's quest for Champions League glory. Haaland joined a squad overflowing with world-class talent. Creative geniuses like Kevin De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva and Riyad Mahrez had a true goal machine to supply. It was a mouth-watering prospect. Despite the hefty price tag, Haaland got off to a flyer, scoring twice on his Premier League debut against West Ham. His brace included a scintillating solo run from his own half that showcased his unplayable mix of speed and power. With Haaland leading the line, City was soon steamrolling opponents with ruthless efficiency. 5-0 and 6-0 scorelines became the norm as Pep's men ran riot. In the Champions League, Haaland picked up where he left off in Germany. The Norwegian dynamo tore through opponents, firing City to comfortable victory after victory in the group stages. His electrifying European form continued into the knockout rounds. Against RB Leipzig in the round of 16, Haaland put on a show, scoring 5 goals in an 8-1 mauling. Next up were Haaland's old nemesis Bayern Munich. City dispatched the German giants with ease as well. Haaland scored in both the legs and sent the Bavarians crashing out. Up against Spanish giants Real Madrid in the semis, Haaland left the Galacticos utterly helpless, helping City thrash Real Madrid over 2 legs as City marched onwards. By the time the final in Istanbul came around, Haaland had stamped his authority as the deadliest striker in Champions League history. Now he had a chance to clinch Europe's biggest prize. City and Haaland beat a dogged Inter side to finally claim the Champions League. With the Premier League and the FA Cup already in the bag, Haaland led the City side to a glorious treble that was only achieved by Manchester City's neighbours and arch-rivals Manchester United. Guardiola tried in every way possible to win the Champions League after the last one he won with Barcelona in 2011, but always came up short. It took the signing of Haaland to win the title again. Haaland is just 23. Imagine the records he is going to break in the coming years, and imagine the carnage he will leave while breaking those records. One thing is certain, this humble boy from Borussia is now a global icon, and his story is far from over. Keep watching, world. The era of Erling Haaland has only just begun.